Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Pfeiffer. This is Conversations on Retail. We are so excited this morning to kick off Alex McCoy's brand new digital transformation series from the floor at Shop Talk. Alex's first guest is Lex Josephs, the Vice President and General Manager of Sam's Club Member Access Platform, or MAP. Just a couple of things to cover before we kick things off. First of all, I wanted to thank our sponsor, Westrock Coffee. With offices in 10 countries, the company sources coffee and tea from 35 origin countries. And for more information, go to westrockcoffee.com. The second thing I would say before we turn it over is this is intended to be a conversation and not just a presentation. And we hope that you will actively participate by asking questions and maybe even offering some of your own insights. Now, we only have Lex for 30 minutes this morning, so we won't be able to get to every question, I suspect. But if you do have questions, click on the Q&A button built into Zoom and submit those questions. And Amy will be helping to moderate with that. So with that said, we're so glad that you're here. Several more that will be joining, but let's get started.
As Matt said, we are so excited to have Lex Josephs, Vice President, General Manager at Sam's Club Member Access Platform. Lex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Truly.
Absolutely. Guys, it is so busy here at Shop Talk. There are thousands of people here, thousands of meetings happening. You should see the meeting setup room. It's insane. So, again, thank you, Lex, for taking some time. If you've not been following Lex on LinkedIn, you're missing out. I've been following you, Lex, for a couple of years now. I love your reflection post that you make. I mean, I'm such an admirer. I truly am, because not only is she a trailblazer in our space, she's a powerhouse female leader, a mom, a woman, and you're creating such an environment for other women in our space. So I'm so excited to have her. If you're not following her, please take a look on LinkedIn. Before we get started, though, I heard last night you had won an award. I believe it was the Star Award by the Global Retail E-commerce Management Council and all of their judges. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does this mean for you?
I'm very humbled by this award. I don't look at myself as a star, but I am representative of a lot of people who have worked really hard over the past 15 months and 5 years, quite frankly, to turn both Walmart Connect and the Member Access Platform, which is Sam's Club's retail media platform, into what it is today. And so I thank everybody who nominated me and who afforded me this opportunity, but I'm really humbled by the work of so many people who have partnered with me in order to turn this into what it's become. So thank you.
It's only a few rewards of several more to come from Lex. I mean, truly, I'm just a big admirer of your work, and you're such a fantastic leader. And what we're here today, though, to talk about not just how amazing Lex is, but the work that she is doing at Sam's Club. So tell me a little bit, retail media network, is that the right word? It's a little buzzy, and we want to hear, how is that being used at Sam's Club today? And tell us more about what MAP really means for you.
Sure. So actually, a lot of what our value proposition and our business strategy is quite frankly incorporated into our name. We lead with member obsession. And so first and foremost within the culture of Sam's Club is we're member obsessed. Therefore, when we were identifying a platform that would make sense of how we're going to incorporate our data offering as well as our advertising offering, creating something that had our member centricity at its core was really important. So the word MAP not only indicates that it's a journey and that there's a lot of direction that's needed and that it's evolution, it's going to be an iterative evolution, but it also shows that the member stands for the M. Access, which is suppliers, advertisers, marketers, and agencies have the ability to access our members on a platform. And so the member access platform, that's ultimately what it is. What you notice is at no point do I say, this is Sam's Club's retail media network.
Okay.
And I don't say that this is Sam's Club's media group. I say that we're MAP. We are a member access platform because at the end of the day, advertisers, agencies, marketers, as well as suppliers, they want to access our members because our members are the ones who are purchasing their items and services. And so MAP was born literally about 15 months ago, not even. I started 15 months ago, but the brand was actually born in June of 2022. And it has quickly accelerated. So we're really proud of it.
That's so exciting. I love the member obsession and how you're saying it's not necessarily a Sam's Club Media Group. This is our member access platform because that's what we want to be able to give our suppliers, is that ability to access our members. So to have that direct relationship, I think, is a very unique way of viewing that. For retail media, it's really in this like closed loop ecosystem, if you will, and those things tie together: advertisement and retail commerce sales. So, how do you imagine this is going to continuously co-evolve or converge, if you will, over time for many years to come? How do you kind of see this space developing?
It's a great question. My prediction of what's going to happen is very different than the answer to the question. So I'm going to first answer the question. But a lot of people want to understand how valuable is data, how pure is data. And something that's unique at Sam's Club is we're celebrating our 40th birthday this year. We were born in 1983, which makes me feel very old. But because I was born before 1983. But we ultimately have 40 years worth of data on our members.
Wow.
And so we really understand what phase of life they're in, the LTV of the member. We understand the various nuances to their families. And so when we think about what that means, making sure that suppliers not only understand how their sales are actually maturing and also delivering, but quite frankly, from a marketer standpoint, understanding how your campaign and your strategy is also being executed. We have to connect those two sides of the house. And so that's kind of our biggest, I would say, foray into in FY24, which is calendar year 2023, is connecting our Madrid platform, which is right for suppliers, into the MAP platform, which is right for advertisers. Connecting those two pieces, it enables an advertiser and or a supplier to see the entire closed loop system of, well, if I'm generating sales and I have a campaign, those should correlate. And so that's a really big opportunity, is that for quite some time, what we've heard is that these two areas are disconnected. And so that is an opportunity. So that's one opportunity. The second opportunity is by leveraging a lot of the membership data in a very safe and trustworthy way. There's a lot of data matching that we can do both within the Sam's Club ecosystem and also outside of it. So think of the world of programmatic and how offsite advertising continues to increase, but you want to do personalization in a way that's not creepy. You don't want an ad following you in a lot of ways, but you can do a lot of different types of data matching with various services that are right for members.
I feel like, I always turn off my Bluetooth on my phone because I do feel like I'm always getting targeted ads just by random conversations about mints, and then all of a sudden Icebreakers is popping up on my phone.
Not embarrassing at all when you search for something and then all of a sudden it follows you for the rest of the day.
Every time. This is so interesting. What I loved about what you just said is that the fact that you're plugging the two together. And I saw your hands right here, your lap, and she literally went plugged together. On the brand side of things, where I just came from a year ago, I was sitting on the brand side for four years, and there was such a disconnect in the supplier community for how we're approaching marketing and sales at the retailer level. So thinking about how it's approaching, like if I'm building up my Sam's Club, you said Madrid, right? That's going to be that sales director is really in Madrid. And then typically like an omni-channel marketer, manager, director is managing that retail spend through the MAP program. And what you're saying is, hey, listen, we're marrying the two together to create a more data-driven approach for you to learn and be more spend efficient. I'm just challenging the audience, how are suppliers going to react to that in your office to make sure that you are structured appropriately to take a benefit? I mean, that's a huge benefit, to take advantage of that benefit.
It is. And I would also say it has a lot to do, quite frankly, with the retailer too. So to be completely objective, Sam's Club is much smaller than someone like Walmart. Mm-hmm. So we can move quite fast. But the strategies are really different. So as an example, at Walmart Connect is a standalone organization, but within MAP, I'm connected to Megan Crozier, who's our Chief Merchandise Officer. Okay. I'm also connected to Sierra Anfield, who's our Chief Membership and Marketing Officer. And we all sit together. So we want to understand something called member first marketing, so that when we're meeting with a partner, we understand, okay, from a supplier side, these are what the KPIs are. But from a marketer side, these are what the KPIs are. And are there any product initiatives being built by this partner? Are there any specific data nuances that we need to know about the partner? And you can only have an effective conversation like that if the strategy is that you talk to your partner internally and you want to show up externally within a retailer in the same manner. So I would say that it's just a matter of organizationally, is your structure allowing you to do so? And then do you have the appetite to do something new?
That's amazing. I love that approach. A lot of people talk about collaboration, but truly what I'm hearing is like a real partnership. And so, and again, I couldn't reinforce this enough is that on the supplier side, you should be doing the same thing and at that table with the people all who have a stake in that. So we're talking about long term. My last question is about the long term. Let's talk about just this year in 2023, the evolution, not just MAP, but also retail media networks in general. What are maybe some of the biggest challenges, or maybe what is it going to be focused on sophistication and scale, or what new capabilities are you thinking about that will enable you? I mean, there's a lot at you, so just kind of pick and choose. But I'd just love to hear what you think about 2023.
I think it's an opportunity, but it's also a challenge. And so when I think about if I was in a supplier's shoes or if I was in an advertiser's position, there's a lot of choice. And so there are retail media platforms popping up all over the place.
Right.
I know that there are a number that were actually even announced at Shop Talk. But even beyond that, there are other platforms like United Healthcare where they're actually creating their own platform. Then you obviously have platforms like Marriott. So you have a lot of different types of data sets that are creating now various ad models. So it's a lot of choice, which I do not envy being in the situation of a supplier or a marketer having to make that choice. But I think because of that, there will be a lot of consolidation. I think seeing what Albertson and Kroger and how they're coming together, even seeing how Walmart Enterprise is embracing an enterprise strategy with advertising. We have Walmart Connect, we have MAP, we have Flipkart. And so really understanding the holistic global strategy, understanding how various partners work better together than apart, I think more of that will happen. In regards to technology, I think voice search is going to be extremely important. It already is to the customer, and to the member for that matter. But I think that's going to make its way into how do we monetize that from an ads perspective? How do we monetize that from a data perspective? Are there new data nuances as it relates to searching when you're intentionally searching through keywords or when you're talking? Because how much of that is almost not okay due to privacy and what is okay? So I think that is going to be a very exciting area that many of us have to figure out.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I personally am not a user of voice commerce, but even my daughter, who's 13, she is constantly talking and ordering stuff. And I think it's fascinating. I'm just not an adoptee of it. And so I'm still trying to play catch up on that. But I love hearing this because, we keep hearing about it. It's different things that are coming through. But again, that adoption, some of us, myself included, will sit back in our own way saying, well, it's not something I use. So is that, my own ignorance to say I shouldn't learn about it and include it and be prepared for it? I think it is, right? And so I love hearing that that's where you think it's going to be one of the upcoming capabilities. I want to pivot just a little bit into your background. I think we're already headed this direction about all the choices and all the choices that suppliers and marketers are going to have. Before we get to that and dig in deeper, I want to start with your background at Walmart Connect. So you were, joined Sam's Club after being one of, I don't know if the founding, but builders of Walmart Connect, formerly Walmart Media Group, correct? And so these are the same family of companies. I'm sure our audience, 99% of you know this, same family of companies. Obviously a very different shopper because you've got Walmart Mass, but then you've got Sam's Club. I don't want to bucket Mass Club grocery. Tell me specifically how Sam's Club member is drastically different from the Walmart shopper. And then therefore, how does it affect the way people should be thinking about differentiating their marketing plans specifically for the two?
Absolutely. So I'll take a more of a macro point of view, if you don't mind.
No,
but
please.
There is a very big difference. If I always think from a member perspective, but when I'm shopping as the customer and what I would expect from Walmart and what I'm shopping for as a member, very different shopping experiences. So if you think about it, Walmart offers an incredibly vast array of selection. They have a 3P marketplace, and it's millions of SKUs, 150 million customers per week. Absolutely necessary. Membership offers curation though. So it's a highly personalized, curated assortment that's actually limited SKUs. I don't have a 3P marketplace and I don't have millions upon millions of SKUs, but I have the right item and the right service for my member. You need both, but it's for very different strategies and very different reasons. And so that's why I always say it's Walmart Connect and MAP. It's Walmart Connect and Map and Flipkart. It's an entire enterprise of various digital strategies and different advertising ecosystems that serve customers differently. From a member perspective, what I find really exciting is that there is a lot happening right now in the subscription space. Netflix had a subscription service, and then they recently launched an ad model. Apple TV had a subscription service, and they just launched an ad model that also parallels their search experience within their app store. We have a membership model that we just launched an advertising platform for. This is a very different space than what Walmart plays in.
Right.
And so understanding the nuances of subscription and membership and then data and ads monetization, really different when you think about curated assortment relative to mass assortment.
Sure.
You need both, but it's very different strategies.
So I know that there's some stuff that Sam's Club recently announced, and I'm going to let Lex share with the team. But where I'm headed is, how should we be thinking about an advertiser, marketer, or supplier? How should we be thinking about the benefits of the Sam's Club MAP program and versus of other retail media networks in terms of spend and where I'm headed? I'm doing this very clumsily. I apologize, but from a marketer standpoint, whenever I had a budget looking at my retail media spend, it was sometimes as black and white as saying, okay, 5% here, 10% here. And really it's just simple questions. Yes. Okay, this person takes up X percent of our top 5 sales gross sales volume. So therefore they're going to get the most, or you know what I mean? And there wasn't enough thought around how much value, not just ROI value, but how much value to the customer are we providing through this channel? So I'd love for you to just talk to me about the things that you're recently announcing at Sam's MAP, and why is that bringing such amazing value for your spenders?
So I think, first of all, great question. Over the last 5 years, having walked into Walmart in 2018 and now starting at Sam's Club in 2022, I've learned a lot. And so my team and I have been able to take a lot of those learning lessons and, quite frankly, evolve and pivot as a result of many years of what suppliers told us, advertisers told us, and quite frankly, what the merchants also told me. In terms of what we're doing at Sam's Club specifically, because there are 2 parts of this question. We understand that primarily the reason why a supplier and marketer want to work with us is because they want to generate sales within Sam's Club, but they also want to know about our member. So it's this dual strategy. In regards to your question about how much did somebody spend, I always look back at you and say, it depends on your strategy. I do find it very funny when people said, oh, it has to be 1% of GMV. It has to be 2%. And I said, no, they should do what's right for their strategy. So someone said to me recently, Lex, I'm working with another retail media network because I need to drive sales in that retailer. Should I work with you? No, you should not work with me if you need to drive sales at the other retailer, because I am not that retailer. So I defer back to you with regards to what your strategy is. What we're doing differently, and what I've learned over the past 5 years, everybody talks about omni capabilities, but it's really important to actually be able to deliver omni capabilities. So what we did was, again, leading with member obsession, was we first looked at what is our member doing? And the reality is that our member is searching more than ever. Okay, so we now know that our member is searching both in club, in app, and online. So that means that I have to launch a very additive experience by way of search for my member. Okay, well, now that means I have to link search in club to search in app and online to create that omni value proposition. So quite literally last week, we announced that advertisers can now attribute in club purchases to their search ads. But it starts with, what is the member doing? They're searching. What do I then have to do? Create an additive ads experience by way of search. And then what else do I need to do? Link it into in club and be able to measure it. And so I bring that up because that whole thought process has to happen, or it's not additive to my member and it's not additive to you. And so that is something that I've learned tremendously, is when we start with what the experience is that the member is doing for our customer, how do you create an additive experience that benefits the member, benefits the supplier and advertiser, and then how can you measure it? That has been a really great learning for me, and we're really excited that that was something that we launched literally last week. The other improvement that we made about a month ago was that we've been able to release real-time, intellectually and intelligently retargeted display advertising So this is now available across tens of thousands of sites on the open web. And what that really means is we've been partnering with Trade Desk and LiveRamp, in addition to working with Circana, which is the newly formed company of IRI and MPD. And it leverages a lot of aggregated first-party membership data, advertiser data, and AI-powered real-time behavioral insights from Sam's Club. So this just makes the campaign smarter. It makes our suppliers and marketers smarter. And we've just been able to, quite frankly, iterate as we get feedback and also as we understand how fast this world is moving. So those are just a couple of the things. We've been busy.
Just a little busy. I mean, I don't know when you sleep. I mean, no, this is extremely valuable.
You're a mom. We don't need to sleep.
Yeah, we don't sleep, actually. This is so valuable to any person who's investing in the map opportunity to talk with the customer. To be able to have this visibility is just like a few years ago. People are saying they had this type of visibility. They said that they had this type of capability to retarget. They truly didn't. Not to this. I was so excited to read about this because it's something that's finally coming through. And for a club member like Sam's Club, having that club access to that customer, I think is such a huge opportunity. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I mean, again,
lots of great work because of you and your team.
A lot of great work because of my team and our incredible peers in product and tech and membership marketing, merchandise, supply chain. So this would not be possible without all of Sam's Club. And quite frankly, it would not be possible without Kath McCoy, who is our CEO, who really believes in this business, as well as Diana Marshall, who's my boss, my chief growth officer. She too comes from merchandise. She comes from operations, and she too believes very much in this. So I thank all of Sam's Club as well as the leadership for believing in us.
That's amazing. So we have less than 10 minutes left. What I would like to do, if you're okay with this, pivot a little bit into your personal beliefs and culture. And I think that there's so much value here. And again, Lex is going to roll her eyes at me because I just can't stop talking about how much I admire you. Because
yes,
as a female, no, I truly mean this. As a female in this space, it's difficult. I'm just going to say difficult. Sometimes the challenges are just enough to, defeat. I think the word for me has been defeat at times. And so to see women like you stand up and not only promote diversity, equality, and inclusion, it's not just that, but then you actually go do it. And you do it in a way that you're able to scale it. And I think that that's really super special. So tell me how, in tech, especially in tech, what do you want to see come from? Like, how do we promote more in the DEI part of technology? Because it's a little bit on the brink of missing, yes? Or what do you feel?
So I would have said yes a couple of years ago, but I'm in a really unique situation, which if you asked me what my future state looked like, I would never be able to say or hope to say it happened in 2023. And I'll explain. It is very rare to have a female CEO, that I also have a female chief growth officer who is my manager, Diana Marshall. Then in addition, our female chief merchandise officer is Megan Crozier. Our female chief marketing and membership officer is Sierra Anfield. Our head of counsel and general counsel is Vicky. We have our VP of corp communications is Megan Pring. And we have our head of strategy is Ella Chan. And then there's me, and I lead the ads business. But in most other worlds, you would not see a reporting line, whereas a woman, I report into a woman who reports into a woman. I bring that up because it's not just about do I have women? Do I have men? But it's also their background. It's having a lot of different nationalities and having a lot of different backgrounds enables us to understand a member better. But it also, quite frankly, we have a lot of different schools of thought then when we bring our experiences together, both personally as well as professionally. So not only working in the company that exhibits exactly what it is that we say we do, but also hiring for talent that also should exhibit what we say and do is really important to me. And it's a dream. International Women's Day was probably one of the most pivotal moments for me to stand on a stage where we had our year beginning meeting in San Antonio and to see this incredible leadership team that is dominantly female. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love the comment that you made that the different ethnicities provide you the visibility, understanding to understand your member.
Yes.
And I think that that's something, it makes sense whenever you say it, but it's like almost like a click in my mind because it's so true. I mean, how can you understand your very diverse member? There are some similarities, right? Some some generalizations here, but for the most part, every person comes from a different walk of life. And so how are you able to really create a custom experience to talk to that person if you don't understand all these different backgrounds and cultures and where people come from and what they believe in and what's important to them?
And everyone looks at it very differently. So it can't just be, this is the only way. You have to listen and hear what that feedback is to make it best, not only for a business by way of our member, but also, quite frankly, we interface with so many different suppliers, marketers, agencies, ad tech platforms. You can't come at it from just one strategy and one angle. So understanding the diversity of various aspects of the entire ecosystem is really important. But I will say it is very humbling and rewarding to work for such a female dominant leadership team.
And, I think it says a lot about Sam's Club, right? Because whenever we say, how do you scale it? We just explained it by naming how it's a woman to a woman to a woman. And then for your team, you have focused on not just female and male, but also the different backgrounds and ethnicities. And so clearly at Sam's Club, it's an expectation to staff accordingly so that you have a variety of supporting DEI initiatives. And I think
very much so.
A lot of people will say it, but we're not, in my opinion, what I've seen is we're not always taking a true approach to enforce it at all times, at all angles. And it sounds like Sam's Club truly is embracing it and making that a priority. So we do have a couple of questions from the audience. And Amy, can you lower that just a little bit? We've got them being thrown up. So Lex, you mentioned partnership at the beginning of the webinar. What is best-in-class partnership between brands and MAP in your mind? And what do you expect from that relationship?
So my team will probably laugh at me when I say this, but in fairness, I really just expect respect, candor, and truth. If something isn't working, I want to know about it. If something is working, I want to know about it. I think by level setting, we're not selling you on something. You're not selling me on something. We're here to genuinely drive growth for your business, for our member, and for our business. How do we do that? But let's just have a candid conversation about it. And if it's working, great. And if it's not, tell me. By the way, if you hear ambient noises, it's because we're sitting at a Shop Talk conference area and they just said, check, check. Part of me wants to now break out and be an MC, but I'm not going to do that. Nonetheless, going back to the question, I would expect just a lot of candor. And again, patience, because we're never going to get it all right, but we're going to really try. And so I personally like the feedback. I want to hear about it. And then we iterate accordingly.
Well, and you said at the beginning too, whenever you said you were at the table with all of the different leaders of Sam's coming with this idea of the map and how was going to be the approach. And I think that word from here is that true partnership and collaboration. It sounds like, based on your answers, like we just want to be in that continuous partnership with you. And again, a lot of people say this, but it sounds like you genuinely mean it in the sense of let's have an honest conversation and learn from one another.
Yeah, there was a question of asking how to balance the needs of the member with the needs of the advertiser. So I can be extremely political and corporate right now and tell you that the member access platform is about an additive ads experience for the member while simultaneously driving profit and revenue for Sam's Club. That is our vision and our value proposition. But I say that because the member additive ads experience, at no point did I say we're going to be the number one and the biggest. I didn't say we are going to be the number one and the most profitable. What I said is that we have to be an additive ads experience to the member, and we have to drive profit and revenue for Sam's Club. But I bring that up because if I alienate my member, I don't have a business. So I have to do something that's right for the member first. From an advertising perspective, there's a lot that we have to build to meet the parity of the market. And then using our Sam's Club Diamond, we talk about meet, beat, lead, and differentiate. And that could be in quality, convenience, price, assortment, but we apply that also within the world of retail media. We have to manage all of those complexities because I have to think about what's right for the member so I don't alienate them, but in fact add to their experience. Because again, it's a 40-year history that some of them have with us, while simultaneously building what's right for the advertiser. But quite frankly, sometimes the advertiser will challenge me and say, but Lex, like I'm doing this like this over at all of these other companies. And I said, great, they're not a membership environment. That's not necessarily the right thing. Let's just look at the membership data and their experience, and then that will tell us what we should be doing. So we're in this different space where, as an example, search for a limited SKU curated assortment hasn't been done before in a way that quite frankly, any platform has done this. So as an example, most people are used to saying, okay, well, I'm searching for birthday and therefore my birthday results show up. Mm-hmm. But for a membership, when I'm giving you a birthday experience, it's a cross-basket, cross-club execution. Same thing with back to school. So I can't just serve you back to school in one item. I have to show you the entire experience because it's a finite assortment that was curated for the member. So I'm really excited about what we can do. But again, I go back to the membership data and the feedback that we receive regarding what's working and what isn't. So the candor goes both ways.
Well, that's okay. They're kicking off because it's time for us to sign off. This is amazing. Guys, we only got to 2 questions. I apologize, but we have them and we will get through them and send them out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Lex, Vice President, General Manager at Sam's Club. Matt, we'll see you guys later. We're going to go off to Shop Talk now.